gotta breathe, 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 breathe. Let it go and let it be, be, be. Yeah, I hope that you're listening. There's only one thing you know you gotta do. That's breathe.
That's what you gotta do. You just gotta breathe, 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 and breathe some more. It's Wellness Wednesday. It's time for the OYN Now Show. And I am your host, Tracy Berry McGee, also known as Divine T.
And I am your co-host. Glad to be your co-host, Tracy. My name is Yolanda Langford, and they call me Lady Yo.
That's right, Lady Yo. Happy Wellness Wednesday.
Absolutely. I missed you, girl.
Yeah, and I miss you too. I miss you too. We've been like going, it's like we've been on two different islands and have to come back together.
Let me tell you what I said we've been doing. We've been doing the work.
Yes, we have. Yes,
we've been doing the work. I just have been watching your journey, all the people you're touching. I mean, thousands at a time. I think I saw somewhere you were 2,000 or 3,000 people deep. And was it, what am I right?
It was Nashville. It was 5,000 people. That was the largest that I had been able to connect with. And it was a great experience. But let me tell y'all, it's summertime. It was hot as hell in Nashville. But more than anything, the food was great. And like I got to go somewhere else next week. And you know, God is good. God is good all the time, all the time.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Well, you know, I ventured out to California and I got back just in time. I was told in my hometown, it was 108 degrees and all the way up to 119 in some areas. So I was there around in the 90 degrees, but I'm glad I was able to get back to St. Louis. Even with the humidity and everything, I take it all, but that's where I was.
Well, anybody that's out there, you know, let us know what the weather is in your city or your town. Really, we're thinking about all of our friends in San Antonio and Houston, the areas that have flooded. Lady O, I haven't even seen you since the 4th. Did you enjoy your 4th?
I did. My family was blessed to be able to go out to a friend's ranch. And we enjoyed canoeing. They enjoyed swimming, and they had some grand fireworks. So it was a great celebration, especially just to be with my family. You know how I am about my family and my kids. And my daughters were traveling. My oldest daughters were traveling. So they were out doing their own thing and enjoying the holiday.
Well, family is everything. We have a couple of wellness room shout outs. I see Robert is with us. Robert, we miss you. Whenever we don't come on, we think about, we got to make sure we let Robert know, Jane, everybody start sharing now and keep sharing some more. Let us know, everybody that's in the chat, what's in your cup, because we got some great ladies coming up. Lady O, what you sipping on? What's in your cup?
You know, today, darling, I had to get me a little Sauvignon Blanc. It was one of those days where, you know, our community is going through a lot. We've lost some great people. We are here standing in the gap for people who've lost people in our community we're doing the work. So we're going to have to continue to carry that torch. So I needed to just bring it down a little bit, and that's what I have in my glass is some Sauvignon Blanc. How about you, Tracy?
I agree. I think it's important that we need to look at the value of uplifting each other. There's so many different ceremonies, and a lot of us know, because we've experienced loss, that we will not just exist, that we are going to live our life to the fullest. And so that's what we're doing. I have some Riesling in my cup, and I am actually celebrating today here at our office downstairs. Dr. Candace Wakefield celebrated 19 years as the Children's Dental Zone and Trilogy. And to see those kids come out and just really love the fact that their doctor is a Black dentist from St. Louis doing the work. And, you know, that's what it's all about. This is why we're here, Lady O.
Oh, absolutely. And Tracy, you were out there. I saw she had bubbles, a van that blew bubbles, and the kids were running around. She had shaved ice. She had food, and y'all had you a good time. And I heard that Joy was there.
Joy she did come out for a little bit. If you all don't get a chance, go over and see some of the pictures of Joy. But she's been popping up at a lot of different places, and so she's getting a lot of good feedback, and we appreciate that. We really do. We got some surprises for them with Joy, don't we, Lady O?
We sure do. But Tracy, let me say this. Did I hear or did I see that you came out with a new book?
Oh, I did. Okay, we're gonna talk about that book. We're gonna have a whole, like, I don't know. We need to. I never had a book signing for the kids, so we're gonna have a book signing.
And we'll invite Joy.
I think we need to have an Own Your Now book, like a book festival for all the women that have written books about different topics and things, because I never ever have had a book signing, and I've written probably now 6 books, and I never had. I think I had maybe one.
Well, it's a done deal. Everybody in the audience put book signing. We're going to have Tracy lead it off, and we're going to highlight women in our community who have written great books. And as a matter of fact, we have one of those ladies on tonight, so we can sign her up tonight.
Well, let me tell you all, I'm doing some wellness room shout outs. Our auntie Cynthia from California says it's 107. Woo! And we don't use the word hot, she said. So I know that she is inside with that cool breeze. You remember, Lady O, when we used to have them air conditioners in the window?
Yes. Oh my goodness. On the farm, we had to take turns watering the pads. You had to put water actually on the cooler pads.
Wow. I'm telling you.
And look at here now, I got me some central air.
Don't play with the central.
Rolled up.
Don't play with the central, girl, because my grandmama used to tell us, go outside and sit down and be still. Like, what does that got to do with anything? I'm hot. You hot. That's all. That's it. Period. But being still did help a little bit, I guess. It helped a little bit.
It did. And at least it helped our parents' nerves.
Yes. Literally, I'm looking at everybody. Jane says she's having H2O. Good old water. We got to stay hydrated. That's what this is all about. But speaking of being hydrated, let's see, who should we bring up first? Because we got 2 amazing women.
Yes. Probably bring up Tyla first.
All right, y'all. So everybody, we're going to talk about, I seek this woman out because it's all about taking care of your body. And I know she has an amazing story, and you all need to hear about it. I'm talking about Tyla Miller. She is the owner of several businesses that span across multiple vertical markets. But we're talking about how she most recently transitioned into the holistic wellness space due to a health issue that changed her life. And she's going to talk to you all about it. But we're talking about sentiment sessions. It's a whole, Lady O, it's a whole vibe.
It is. I know.
It's all about self-care. We're going to bring her right up so you all can learn all about sentiment sessions. How about that?
Hi.
Hello. Good evening. How are you, Tyla?
I am well. Thanks for having me on the show.
It is our pleasure and our honor to have you here tonight. You know, our owners always want to know what's in your cup.
All right. So I'm having good old H2O too, some spring water.
Okay. Cheers to the H2O. You know, our Shmi Clark Hubbard always says St. Louis has the best water.
It does. I guess. We are talking about sentiment sessions. You said that this wasn't your space. Like at first, when did you say, I think I want to go to this holistic wellness spa space?
You know, it really aligned with my whole spiritual awakening, honestly. This was not I could pinch myself actually, because I never thought I would actually be in this space. You know, the saying that man will make his plans, but God will carve your path.
Yes.
That literally happened with respect to what I'm doing today. And my journey started with me thinking that I wanted to be something and getting there and not being happy. So I set out on this journey to become a corporate America queen, if you will. You know, getting the education, the undergrad, the master's, going into a PhD program, ending up achieving all of my corporate, I guess, accomplishments, achievements with respect to climbing the corporate ladder. And although the journey was very enlightening, I got a lot of enlightenment. I learned a lot about multiple vertical markets and found the synergies across everything that led me to what I'm doing today. So I worked in the healthcare industry, I worked in finance, I worked in agriculture, I worked across the legal and corporate sectors, and only to find out that it made me sick. And when I say it made me sick, it really wasn't a life that I was living authentically. And one of the things that I learned around, trying to assimilate and acclimate to certain environments, really, when you hold that much in and don't show up authentically in those spaces, you get sick. And so as a result of getting sick, I actually relocated to Arizona after the death of my younger brother. And I thought I wanted to get away from St. Louis and start over anew. And I was working as a consultant at the time, so I could pretty much live anywhere in the continental, U.S. But
Yes.
I settled on Arizona because I had multiple clients up and down the West Coast. And I loved Arizona. So I got there, I got sick and lost my ability to walk for about almost 5 months.
Wow.
And I was literally on my back and just out of it. And I gained I was like probably 350, 360. It was pretty bad. And once I went to the doctors, they couldn't find out what was going on. They wanted to pump medication. They wanted to give me unnecessary surgeries. They recommended everything that I didn't want. I realized that I had to go to God and pray over it.
Mm-hmm.
And
yes, ma'am.
I met a woman who told me she could heal me, actually coming out of a doctor's office. And she said, come in and let me heal you. Like I can get you back, normal. And I'm like, okay, at this point, I'm desperate.
Yeah.
Went in, she gave me a colonic. The first colonic I got, I felt like a wave came up, like the foggy.
So you say colonic. Everyone doesn't know what a colonic is. Tell us, it's hydrocolonic therapy.
Yes.
Tell us exactly what that is.
Therapy is when you basically infuse your intestines with purified distilled water. So water goes in the anus and it fills up your intestines, and it's like a power washer to your intestines. Everybody knows, well, I shouldn't say everybody, but it's common that, especially in the medical field, that all disease starts in your intestines. And it goes to, infiltrate throughout your, through a process called leaky gut, gets into the organs, because all of your major organs are sitting on your intestines. So that's how disease actually filters through your body, like cancer, lupus, MS. Every cardiovascular disease that's known to man starts in your intestines.
Yes.
So hydrocolonic therapy basically gets rid of the toxins, the parasites, and all of the buildup of calcifications, as well as mucus. And I'm not sure who is aware of Dr. Sabi's followings, but we know about mucus in the body, and the overabundance of mucus causes inflammation that leads to disease. So getting a hydrocolonic is, doing these sessions actually, again, power washes and purifies the intestinal walls. So
I think people don't realize that there's so much more to the intestines.
Yes.
Than
Absolutely.
we have been taught. And intestinal health, gut health is so important, because you can be healthy all the way around. You can be lifting all the weights you want to lift, eating right. But if your gut isn't healthy, and I think because when we grew up, our parents always said, eat all your food.
Correct.
That fullness got to be normal.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, is this something that you feel like, because, when you get over 50, like there's a certain age where they tell you everybody is supposed to get one, but this is in a spa setting, because this is what got me. I was telling my best friend, let's book it and go, and we can see what it looks like and all this kind of stuff. Is it for a certain age or any age? Because I saw on your site, you can book them several times a year, right?
Yeah. So what you may be referring to at the age of 50 or when you get older is the colonoscopy, which is
Right. But
totally
this is
different from.
different.
Yeah, this is different. So colonoscopy is so that colorectal surgeons or doctors can go in and investigate what's going on in the colon. They might give diagnosis like diverticulosis or diverticulitis, which involves the polyps, ladio, like you mentioned. But the colon hydrotherapy is new. A lot of people aren't aware that it's water. It's water, right? And we put things like, and nothing against a good glass of wine because I enjoy mine too.
Yes, yes.
If we think about everything traveling to the intestines, everything we consume goes to the intestines. The big issue, and I tell my clients this, the main issue that you should always realize if you're eating a bunch of dairy products, you definitely need to be cleaning your colon because dairy products is the number one producer of mucus. And
Tyla, so did you stay away from dairy how are you doing that?
Before, when I was sick, when I lost my ability to walk, I loved cheese. I loved cheese. It was like my number one thing. I'm not telling people to get rid of cheese. I'm saying eliminate it to like not a weekly or daily thing. Maybe occasionally have an indulgence, just like most, things that we might want to try, like, a piece of cake or, I don't
everything in moderation.
That's it. That's it. That's it. So
Man,
that right there could actually help. That's 80%, 90% of the problem, in my opinion.
I'm glad she said give up cheese instead of wine because I was like, oh, damn, I'm in trouble. But okay, so you don't even have to prepare. So it's different than when you go to the doctor. You come into this beautiful space and you can get massages. You have the thing where they put your feet down and pull the toxins out your feet.
Exactly. Yeah. I have the foot detox. I have the yoni steam as well as lingam for men. Most people aren't aware that men.
Hold on, back up. I heard about the yoni steam. What you got for the men?
Yeah.
Lingam steam. It's a lingam steam rinse. It helps with prostate health. It helps with reducing eliminating toxins on the skin and tightening the skin as well. pH balancing. So removing all those negative energy and toxins off the body. So we do that. We do massage therapy as well. We have a new services starting. Yoga, sound baths, as well as meditation is also a service that we offer.
So I'm a therapist and I love all of this. Lady, we need to go. Like, let's go.
It's the go-to place to come for, just to have balance and alignment. That's what it's all designed.
What's the address? Tell us about the address. What's the address?
The address is 1310 Papin Street, and I'm suite 401.
Now you say, what is the connection between the gut and brain?
That is, I just kind of hit on it a little bit about the intestines being kind of the area where all disease starts. Well, we also have the sacrum, which sits at the base of our spine, that sits up against the transverse part of the colon, which is the part of the colon that wraps around. And that is where toxins like to hijack the neural network and travel up your spine to your brain. So that's actually where toxic thoughts start. Cravings, toxic thoughts. These are low vibrational type of microorganisms that like to hijack your thinking and tell you to do crazy crap. Make crazy decisions so they can survive. So it's an interesting way of looking at it. But this is just what we are humans that are made up of trillions of microorganisms, and some of those don't belong inside of our body. So the brain gut connection is that there's, sometimes we have, like you say, that gut feeling, but we know it, right? And there's a connection between the brain and the gut there. And a lot of times we want to make sure that we're feeding ourselves the healthy stuff so we can have positive thoughts, good vibrations.
Hey, I'm all about positive vibes. I talk about them all the time. People see me and they're like, gosh, you are like you are on the show. I said, yes. Because I try to take care of myself, be well, and exude positive vibes and stay healthy. We have to ask you, what is your affirmation word? What is that word that means something to you?
Whew. Okay, so my affirmation word really is about freedom. It's about the freedom to live my life authentically. It is about having the courage, um, the strength, the confidence to just embrace life with just openness and just being my authentic self.
I love that. I love that. The freedom to be your authentic self. I'm looking at some of our owners in the chat, and Montrese asks, what's the relationship between the CBG and the gut, and does it help with inflammation?
I'm sorry, what did she say? The CBG
In the gut, and does it help with inflammation? Because what I want to know is, I'm not sure what the CBG.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying. But yes, the hydrocolonic therapy helps with inflammation. Inflammation is caused by the mucus. So hydrocolonic therapy is going to release all the mucus. You actually get to see it come out in 3D, which is yeah. And I do have the latest innovation. Yeah, I have the latest innovation in hydrocolonic therapy. The equipment that I use, I am the second person in the United States to own it. I made sure I brought it in the very best to ensure that you all get the best cleansing. And it's painless and it's very comfortable in a very tranquil environment. So
y'all hear that, owners? It's painless. And I heard that you also kind of feel like you lost a little weight, maybe a pound or two or something like that. I don't know, but I'm going to try to find out.
Yeah. So in terms of weight loss, I gained a lot of weight. I was up probably 350, 360. My scale topped out at 320, I believe, but I got really big. But I'm down 140 pounds, all due to hydrocolonic therapy.
Yes, girl.
I love it. I love it.
Well, I've lost more than that now. So since I've told this story, I'm probably down another 20.
And God bless you, because your health is your wealth. And I talk to people about that all the time.
About 160. Yeah. Yeah. So you can, on average, clients lose anywhere between 3 to 8 pounds a session. I will also add that we're now in the dawn of Ozempic and Wegovy and other semaglutides. Please be aware that causes some type of paralysis with the digestion, the peristalsis process of the colon. So I have seen a lot of uptick in clients that are needing the support of hydrocolonic therapy to aid them through, this process of losing the weight, and actually helps to maximize that weight loss effort because they're getting the elimination and the hydration of the colon. So it's something that I just like to stress as well.
Well, we just had to have you on because this is what we need in our community. I'm glad you're here in St. Louis. I'm going to schedule a session. I'll come back and let y'all know how it went. I've been watching it on TikTok and everything. So if you have any specials, or I'm going to go on your Facebook page. I follow you on TikTok, all of that, YouTube, so that we can find out more about it. So thank you for everything. So much. You can just go there and click the book a session.
Yes, go on, book a session. I tell people to try at least one, but we do offer the Great Reset, which is a discounted package of 3. It's great to start with that because it gets through the whole entire colon. Since the colon is 7.5 feet long, you need about 3 sessions to get through the whole process. So I do offer a great package on that.
Well, look for Lady Yo and Divine T, and we're going to let y'all know how it goes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you. Lady Yo, I'm so serious, girl. I'm so
St.
Louis. I'm so serious.
Me too, because there's so much to wellness, and we forget about our colon. I
don't need the ice cream. I don't need the cheese.
But we forget, because that is the highway. Okay? So we have to remember that. I'm glad she's brought it to the forefront, because, as women, as African Americans, that's something we really don't have a conversation about, because it leans to the colonoscopy.
It is.
And people are always like, oh God, I don't want that.
I've gotten those. I want to do this I'm getting a massage. I'm gonna get the feet tucked, all of that, because my body deserves these things.
We deserve these things.
Look, and it's a wellness vibe.
Yes.
It's a wellness vibe. But we're gonna talk about the moms, and we're gonna talk about the sons. Who do we have coming up next?
I have to just admit, this is my girl. Her name is Donya Taylor, and she is a sales guru. However, she's taken time out of that arena and she's written 2 books, A Woman's Handbook Encouraging Sons to Rise Up, and Rise Up Son, a journal to somebody's son. So we're going to bring her on up because she has a lot to share. Hey, girl.
Hi.
Hey, girl. Hey.
I'm so happy to be here. I kept wanting to say something when y'all were talking to Tyler, but Tyler, you're going to see me too.
Yes. Yes. We're going to make it a party. We're going to make it a whole wellness. We're going to have a wellness party. Tyler, we're going to have an On Your Now Show wellness party at your spot. Okay. So let's get that together. Donya, with your busy self, what's in your cup? What you sipping on?
Oh my goodness. So I actually ran and fixed a cup of coffee because I got tired. I got my Black girl cup. On the back, it says proclaim, prepare, and prosper. So
Yes.
I got a little vanilla coffee in here.
Ooh,
I love it. I love it.
I like
Well,
that.
you know, we're going to jump right on in because look at here. Hold on. I got my books. Let's talk about how this came to fruition. How did you say, I am going to write a book about Rise Up, Son? How women, what is it? It's a woman's handbook to encouraging sons to rise up. How did that come about?
Okay, well, thank you for asking, and I just want to say, both my kids have been on this show, so I'm grateful to be here. I'm like,
It's your time.
me showing up, okay. But I'm happy to be here, and the journey started literally with one act of obedience in 2013, and it was just our pastor at the time said, "Everybody, go get your kids from Children's Church." And bring them in the sanctuary, and we're all going to pray for our children. So you can imagine, everybody got up at one time. So my husband and I decided we're not going. We're just going to stand here, and our kids are big enough to come to us. So my daughter came to us, but my son was way on the other side of the church up in the balcony, and I was waving him. I was like, come on, you got to get over here. And there was a man that had his hand and I can't come. So the man started waving me away. He said, I got him. And I didn't want him to have him. I wanted to pray for my own son. And God said to me, I want you to trust me with your son and pray for somebody else's. And I looked to my left, and there was a little boy standing there with no one. And I didn't know the little boy. And so I said, okay. And so I grabbed his hand. I said, can I pray with you? And he said, yeah, so I prayed for him as though he was my own son. And so fast forward to 2022, I mean, I've literally been reminding myself of that as I want to pray for myself. I always say, okay, Lord, you told me to trust you with mine. And then I would literally just start praying for somebody else's. I'm like, okay, I'm trusting you with mine. And I can't tell you how many times I had to say that out of my own mouth, because if you have children, you know what that's like. I mean,
yes.
And my son at the time was establishing mayhem Monday at school and tripping Tuesday. He was clowning. Okay, so Lord knows I wanted to pray for him. I kept reminding myself. So I shared this story. I have a prayer line that I founded with my 2 favorite girls, Keisha Meneers Wilson and Michelle Wilson, not sisters, but really good friends of mine. We founded the prayer line back in 2011. So I shared that story with the ladies on the prayer line, and we get on at 5:30 Monday through Friday. So I give you that information later. But at any rate, shared that with them. So when we hung up, one of the ladies called me. She said, will you pray for my son? And I said, absolutely. I was honored. I said, you know what? I will not only pray for your son, I'll fast and pray with you for your son.
Yes.
And so,
that's what we need. That's what we need. That's absolutely what we need. We all are, yeah.
So I said, does 13 mean anything to you? She said, no. She said, well, you know what it does. She said, Donya, I can only fast for 13 days because I'm having a procedure done. I said, oh, well, then 13 it is. Okay. So we started fasting and praying for 13 days. We got up at 5 o'clock every morning. I opened it up to the ladies on the line and I said, hey, if you got a son's name, any son, any son, just send in the name, especially the ones you don't want to pray for. Them the ones, make sure you get them on the list. So we ended up getting so many names that about halfway through, we had gathered over 1,000 names, and we were calling those names out at 5 a.m. By the time we got to day 13, we had over 2,000 names. And we could barely get through 1,000 names. And all of a sudden we had 2,000. When I tell you we got on the line, it was supposed to just be me and the two ladies. Those prayer warriors met me on the line. It was 40 ladies on the line, and they were dividing up the names and they were calling out those names. And so we did that. And that was the first act of obedience. So then God told me, write a journal. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I said, first of all, I'm not a daddy. I'm not a son. I didn't grow up with a son. I didn't grow up with a daddy. My dad was not in the home. And I said, so I really didn't feel qualified. So every time I sat down to write the journal, I would literally just I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah. So God is faithful, right? So
yes, he is.
So so he downloaded a poem, and I'm not a poet, but he gave me a poem, and it turns out every stanza of the poem was a chapter in the book. And so it started off with being a man of valor, rising to
Hold on 1 second. Mm-hmm. I have that tagged. I'm going to read a little bit.
Yeah.
Sunrise. SONRISE. Rise to your very best. A man of valor. Don't settle for less. Rise to take your rightful place. Rise to stand man to man, conversing face to face. Rise by taking God's hand, understanding he has the plan. Rise knowing there are 4 feet, not 2, walking in the sand. Sunrise, SONRISE. And it goes on, and I want to read the whole thing, but as you see, I got a little excited. It's sunrise, SONRISE.
Yeah. I love that. You know what? Donya, my dad, his name when my dad was alive, but his mother used to call him one son. And it was so interesting because he was one son. And she always talked about how, how you leave out and somebody's praying for you. That somebody is praying for your son. Somebody's praying for you. And your grandparents would be like, I prayed for you last night. And I used to be like, gosh, she prayed for a lot of people. Yeah, but that it's important that we pray for our sons and our daughters, but most importantly, in the community that we live in and how people see our boys, that's important. It feels like a movement already. Tell us, what are you looking forward to?
I really want I want there to be a movement. I want there to be a calling for mothers, grandmothers, mentors, all the women to come together and call for our sons to rise up and be all that God called them to be. I think that we are distracted from great. I couldn't make that make sense. I'm like, my son has a daddy in the house, but my husband made a great point. He said, parenting is not just hard for a single mom. It's just hard for everybody that's participating.
Yes.
But when I asked God why women, he took me all the way back to Adam and Eve. And he said, Eve was the biggest influencer. She was a seed sower. Now, we want to kick Eve down the steps. Okay. We do. But look,
multitude of reasons.
Right. But look at the power that was in her. Look at her ability to influence Adam. And so what better way to influence our young Adams than through our wise Eves?
I love that. We are thankful that you have said yes to this mission because we know that you have sons and daughters but you are there for everybody. Like she says, I'm not just here for my son, I'm here for everybody's son. Somebody's son needs that prayer. And some people don't have people that even know how to pray. Yeah. And so
that's the last thing that I wanted to share with you, if you don't mind. So the books go hand in hand. Okay. So the way my son and I have been doing it is that he works through the chapter and then he comes back and talks to me. But while he's going through the chapter, there's a prayer that you specifically aligns with whatever chapter he's on. And in the beginning, before he even starts the journal, there's a heartfelt letter from mom to son.
Yes.
So as it's words that any mother would want to say to her son. So if you ever wanted to say something to your son, but you weren't quite sure how to get the words, this is a way to have an intentional conversation. We are so busy sometimes just being mothers, right? We're mothering, we're chauffeurs, we're chefs, we wear all the hats, right? But sometimes we forget to just pause and have a conversation. And so when we set aside intentional time to have a conversation, it just becomes more memorable. It becomes healing, not just for the son, it becomes healing for mom. And so what I've noticed is that although this had nothing to do with my father and I, because as I said, I didn't grow up with my dad in the home with me, since I've been an adult, we've reconnected. And so I wanted to hear his story. So I started sitting, I never made the connection here, right? I just was like, I want to hear your story. So I would have him come over every Friday and I would set my phone up and I would record him. And I asked him to tell me as far back as he could remember. And he went back to when he was 8 and he shared stories with me about abandonment, about, brokenness, about just his life, about abuse and things that I never even knew that he experienced. And it was in that moment that God revealed to me, he's somebody's son.
Yeah.
He's somebody.
Oh, that's it. That's a testimony right there.
He's somebody's son. And you know what, Donya, when I was reading the book, there's something that I just have to get out there about us as moms. We have to forgive ourselves.
There's a letter for that too, Mom.
Right. So y'all, you can't just get the book for the sons. You got to get the book for the mom.
You know, our Justice Key used to say all the time, we're living this life for the first time.
Come on.
Yeah.
That's right.
And I reflected back on when I was young, I got married. I thought I knew everything because I had gone to college, girl. I knew everything. I got married before I had kids. And then life.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, I've forgiven myself because I've learned along the way. I did the best I could with what I knew. And now that I know better, I do better. And that is so amazing. But you got to forgive yourself first.
You have to forgive yourself.
You have to forgive yourself first. And especially, I'm just going to speak to our single moms and our moms who, you might have been married, but you got a divorce and you're raising kids now by yourself. It's different.
Yeah.
It's different as you had it set up.
Yeah.
Right.
So what the reality is. But you're doing the best you can. And the other thing I'm going to touch on, and this is personal for me. My mom was not a vocal mom. She was very shy. She didn't express a lot. I'm my dad's child for real. I'm very expressive. I'm very gregarious. But my mom didn't express a lot. But one year, I got a letter in the mail. And it was a letter that said, and I'm going to short it, you are everything I ever dreamed of.
That's it.
I thought, well, she had 2 boys and that was her world. We were on a farm. But she wrote me a letter. You are everything I ever dreamed of. Not just what you are today, but as you were growing up, you were an obedient child. You were, you did what I asked you to do. You listened. And I thought, wow. And so what you provided for women like me and women in the world, because most of us will have a hard time writing that letter.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I want to bring Tyla back into the conversation because one of the other things that I think is important, I'm a therapist. So everybody that comes through here, women and girls, they receive a journal. But also I know that there's this thing called psychosomatic issues and toxins that build up in our bodies when we don't get things out.
Yes.
And we as parents, we do like Donya said, we do everything for everybody. We take care of everybody and we work, but then we aren't taking care of ourselves. And as a result of that, those toxins are held in our bodies.
Yep.
And so we have to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves inside and out. So wait a minute, Donya, is your book, is a journal as well?
It's say that again. This the
Is
mother
it a journal as well?
So
it's a workbook, right?
So this is a prayer book, and it has prompting questions for you to converse with your son. So it might encourage you to tell him a story about when you maybe made a bad choice, and when you could have done something different. And then it's, and then you can write. I mean, but this is your book, and then there's prompting questions in the son's book. And the prompting questions are just about, choices, decisions, positive self-talk. What story are you telling yourself? Are you telling yourself you can? Are you telling yourself you can't? And just really making sure that they understand the greatness that they are. They are young kings. They are the child of the Most High God. You can do all things.
Bring the swag, okay? Bring the swag, because you got it. You do have a whole movement.
And you know what, Donya, I loved is when I kept reading through the son's journal, it was, how did that make you feel?
Yeah.
How did you feel? Yeah. And I think, I'm a bonus son mom. Just asking a man, how do you feel? Mm-hmm. Because we gloss over that a lot. I know I could gloss over something that happens with my boys, but if it happened to my girls, oh Lord, stop the world. But how does that make you feel as my son, as my bonus son? How does that make you feel? How can I support you in that? And how can we make that better or change the trajectory of that, or use that as a foundation to build yourself up? Because even, and I'm going to speak to even the sons being older, they still need support. Mm-hmm. They still need love. Still need you're doing a great job, because some of our sons are going into that fatherhood area. And they may not have had the father in the home, or they may have had the father in the home. It's still different, because we are, as women, are taught to be mothers.
Yeah.
When we're growing up, we're playing Barbie, we're taking care of things. Men are taught to provide, and this is just my synopsis, but the caring part, the feeling part, that is something that is new. And it's, even if the father's in the home, he may not be able to teach that part because it's new to him also.
Yeah.
And it's the ultimate law of reciprocity. When you think about relationships and things of that nature, I don't know a better son than my husband. He is an amazing son, and that cascades into every relationship. That he's a great father, he's a great husband, he's a great friend, he's a great stranger. But it starts with the relationship with his mother, and when that relationship is broken, it sometimes can cause a domino effect or a cascade of brokenness. And so if we can get that piece right and have them connect, whether it's your biological mother or not, whether we connect you with an Eve, you know what I mean? That is influential, that is motivating, that can pour greatness into you in an emotional connective way, then that's gonna pay, for generations to come.
Generations. That is your legacy. That's your legacy. That is your legacy. Look here. Let me tell you something. I'm looking at the time. I got excited myself.
I know.
I'm all in. But Donya, I have to ask you, what is your affirmation word?
I changed it because the Spirit told me that the affirmation word today is obedience.
Obedience.
Do the first thing that God told you to do, because this is the last thing, and I'm not going to get into the number thing, but
you can.
Okay. Well, I was just going to say, throughout this whole process, the number 13 kept coming up, right? the number 13. We fasted and prayed for 13 days. God spoke to me in 2013 about my son. This year is the 13th year that my mother passed away. And that was what led to our prayer line. So it's all about the number 13. So I was like, well, what is up with this number 13? So I did some research on it. And, the world wants us to see the number 13
as if it's something negative.
a lie from the pit of hell. Number 13, when I researched it, it brought up the story of Abraham and how Abraham was promised that he would have a son at the age of 86. He didn't have that son until he was 99. So that was 13 years later. And so the number 13 means something that you can only do with the power of the Trinity. And so when I think about this line and the way you all keep the Lord alive on this line, and you are not afraid to give him glory, and you're not afraid to put him on high and bring him first on this line, that is what keeps y'all going. And that is but you all could not do this without.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
You cannot.
Absolutely.
You cannot. You cannot.
I think that it's a beautiful number. So anybody whose birthday is on the 13th, I know they like, hey, but yeah, I just wanted to share that. And
thank you.
And please, if you do decide to go buy the book on my website or the books on my website, please use the discount code RISE UP, all lowercase letters, RISE UP. All one
okay,
word.
so where can we buy the book? Tell us the website.
On my website, it's somebodyson.org. Somebodyson.org. And then the discount code is RISE UP, all lowercase.
Okay, y'all got that. Rise up. Everybody start dropping your affirmation words for the week in the chat. We are literally in the fall, and I'm going to contact you, Donya. We're starting here at the office. We have wellness. We have different wellness groups. So we have wellness sisters, and we definitely need to have a wellness sister party at Sentiment Session.
Yes.
Then we have womanish. So wellness sisters, they actually have something coming up this Friday, and it's the women that are like I want to say like 20 to 35. And then we have womanish for women 35 and over. And then this year we're starting mom-ish.
Yay.
And I think that that's going to be important because we all are mothers. Like she said, like y'all said, we're nurturers. Y'all don't know how many folks that been in Lady Yo house. She always, some baby that came up to her as she has fed somebody. They're
my community kids. They're and I've been at weddings. They've brought me up at graduations. Donya's daughter is she's my fairy god niece. God niece. I proclaim myself with all my glitter.
Yes, absolutely.
And I've just seen her life, and God has progressed in her life. Yes, there's so many positive things that we are doing, and we have some major announcements for the OYN Wellness Show. So y'all stay tuned. Tell people to subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. And you know what? The great thing I love about Tracy and I, we're gonna take you all with us.
Yes, all the way. All the way. We take you all the way. We can't sing like Morgan, but hey, we're gonna take y'all.
We're gonna take you all the owners. What God has put on our journey, He shined the light on our path. Tracy and I started out, if you are new to this, on Facebook during the pandemic because Tracy needed a cup of coffee or a cup of something because of her mom and her dad, and it has progressed, and God has shined His bright light. The only light, the light.
When I hear Tyla's story about there's something that happens in you or a family member, and it shifts everything. And that's what happened with me. It just shifted everything. I didn't know. Like my grandmother died at 56 from colon cancer.
Wow.
So we have to take care of our bodies, I got my wine. My cup is empty, but guess what? I'm following up with my water.
Right.
And I'll probably, while I'm doing it, I'll be reading my book. I'm gonna get my Rise Up book. So we just want to thank you all. Lady O, you didn't drop your affirmation word. Everybody else is putting their affirmation words in the chat. What's your affirmation word, Lady O?
Right. My affirmation word is rise. So I've been reading this book, And the word rise is just repetitive. And it's not just for sons, it's about life and to rise up, you know, as my mother said, rise up to the occasion.
Yeah.
And your occasion in 2024 is to live an abundant life.
Yeah.
To be fulfilled with happiness, to be fulfilled with joy, and don't keep it to yourself, to share it. So rise up and shine. Woo.
Love it.
I'm gonna stop right there.
That's it.
I love it.
I love it. I love it. Well, I just want you all to understand that, you know, freedom is being able to do what it is that you love to do and do it with purpose. But when we do it with purpose, we have to be obedient to the calling, because that's what obedience sounds like. And that's what it feels like when we're actually in the act of literally saying, you know what? I'm all about rising to the top, because I know that when I rise and I am obedient to all things, then it allows me to have the discipline to continue to work through the things that God has allowed me to do, so that I know that I'm not just blessed, but I'm able to bless others, so we all can continue to rise up. And today, definitely mine is joy, because I'm going to continue to execute joy, knowing that you just got to be an original you. That's all you got to do. Listen to God, listen to what it is that he has to say to you, surrender to it, and understand that God has us all covered, because that is how we own our now.
Okay.
You know what, Tracy? I always brag on you. But y'all, put some hand claps, some snaps in the comments for my girl, because she knows she brings it every single time. And let me tell y'all something. She could do it live and in color in front of thousands of people.
Wow.
You can pick 10, 25 people, and she remembers. With the young people, she tells them, drop a song. And I'm telling you, Tracy can make those modern songs now, you know, that little difficult into something. You know, before we go, Tracy, I got a few vibrant vibes to send out, and you know, it's the vibe. BB, right. The Neo Soul, she's an owner, y'all. She is at the World Chess Hall of Fame in the Central West End on 7-Eleven. 5:30, the doors open. 6 o'clock, artist talk. 7 o'clock, concert. Dark Room, he's an owner now too. Alonzo Townsend, he's 7:12. He has Galide. On 7:13, he has Sharita Moore. 7:14, Milan Cameo, and that every concert starts at 9:30, ends at 1. And last but not least, because our brother, president of the Urban League, Mr. Michael McMillan, they have a ribbon cutting for their Women's Business Center, 440 Natural Bridge, and that's going to happen on July 15th at 11 o'clock. Plenty to do. Go out and support. St. Louis is all the way live.
It sure is. Make sure that you all pray for a friend. Pray for somebody, because we all need it. Yes. We all need somebody to pray for us. All right. Thank you, Lady O. I miss you. I can't wait to see you in person.
I can't wait to see you in person too. Hey, you know what I'm going to do? Wish everyone peace, love, and positivity.
Remember, tomorrow isn't promised. So own
your now.
I am unstoppable. Let me hear you say,